Hello and welcome back on my channel Sheet Metal Workshop, and this is part 3 Project-Piperack. Well, in this video I'm going to explain and show how to fit, so I will be now a fitter. Okay, well, this is every stuff I have with me now. Everything is prepared. So we have here got the metal, and inside are position numbers written in it everywhere. Here, for example, you can see here also position number 7, and everything is numbered. So what I have with me now, what I brought everything with me is the insulation. I have also got the isometrics, so all isometrics are there. So that's one thing. What I also have is I've got a mask. It's also very important if you're working with mineral wool for safety. So mask I have also with me. And then I have got some wire as material, and we have here some aluminium tape, and well, I have also got a template. I'm going to explain it also during the video. And then of course we have here the insulation. So for example, we have here MW, so mineral wool 90 pipe sections, alu, so it's alu coated, and we have here an inside diameter of 48, insulation thickness 50, so one pipe section is 1 meter long, and we have here 6 pieces in it. So we have a look, see, so we have here 6 pieces of that pipe dimension we need, and same thing also in the other boxes, the other sizes. So what we also have here, we have screws with me, so screws. Then we have here fiberglass tape. Also, I'm gonna also explain it all, everything during the video. And of course, optional, we have aluminium foil and also silicone. Now, we're almost complete. So what I have also got with me are my tools and the metal. Now, the next thing what we have to do is we go on the side to fit it. Okay, now we are here now on the side, and this is the pipe rack. I'm going to insulate and do the cladding. So, there are also some shields here. Position number 7. This is position number 3. Okay, well, there are some shields everywhere, so I now exactly know which part where comes. I will say, will I have a start? So first what I'm going to do, I'm already here on the side, so my tools are there. So first what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my isometric, and this is position number 1. So here position number 1, so this is the pipe, and here we have the isometric, and now we're going to find the metal. Okay, so I find also the metal. And next information, it says 60-50, so I'm gonna take a pipe section alu coated 60-50. So that's the next thing I need. Got my tools. Well, I will say let's have a start. And of course, don't forget to put on your mask when you're working with mineral wool. Okay, I have here already separated the pipe. So this one comes here, will be fitted, and next what we're going to do is I'm gonna just show another example. So on some projects, on some specifications, they want you to also put aluminium foil over the pipe as a kind of a protection. So I just want to show it. And also what happens a lot also, what they use a lot on sites is this fiberglass tape. Also protects for dragging over the temperature on the metal later on. So, and we also put it a little bit above the weld seam. See? So this is only just an example I wanted to show, so I'm not going to put the whole pipe in aluminium foil and also not putting everywhere fiberglass. It's just I wanted to show. Okay, well, we're gonna start now next cutting the first bend out of this pipe section, and well, we're gonna do it the easy way, so I'm gonna show it how I will do it. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna use this segment as a template. Now here's the seam for the cutout. So here I am on the seam here, and here also, wait a minute, the holes are the center. Okay, here we are good, and here also. Okay, well, next what I'm going to do, just gonna cut it exactly like the metal goes. So now I have a clean cut. Same thing what I can do is also with the segments. Now, because I already have one angle, if you have experience, you know, you can hold this one, take the knife, see? And now you can also cut the other one again, or you can put it, if you're not sure, you do it again like the first time. See, so your segments are now cut it. Okay, so next step. Okay, now next what I'm going to do is, I need this cut out. So I'm gonna measure from the welding seam until the center of the pipe. We have 160. So yes, we have here the seam, 160. And so here is my seam, and it's the same diameter, so the outside diameter of the insulation is 160. So we go 80 one side and 80 millimeters on the other side. Now, because position number 2 are 2 T-pieces here, so here position number 2, what I can do, see, now put this here in the center. It's on the seam here, so you have to guess a little bit. So here, this one, the outside flat straight here on the line, here it's outside, so we don't do only 1/2. And now we're gonna move it. See here, this one. Okay, well, that's now my cutout. So what we're going to do, we just gonna watch we stay on the line. Okay, that's it. Oh, but before we put that on, we can already put here this metal on it. Okay. Okay, so next I can put already those segments on it. Okay, so far so good. So next thing what we're going to do, Let's clean up straight away the rubbish I don't need anymore for now. So now we're going to continue like I did with these parts. So I just can take those parts out. So this will be now my next one. So this is down, let's have a look. So I have to look how I'm gonna put it. I have to do it differently, like this. And now I'm gonna find the angle by turning it, see? So I will say that's the angle. And again, okay, so far so good. So I'm just gonna continuing the same thing. Okay, so far I think I'm good. Now later on, when everything is done, I will put here on every seam aluminium tape, so those seams will be all closed. But for now, for the start, I'm just gonna put it in form. Now next what I want to do is I want to insulate this piece here before I continue over there. So this is the T-piece, what will be fitted like this. And now we can do this in different ways. I can again here put the metal over it or hold it exactly above, you see, because here this is also, see, 45 degrees. The angle doesn't change, see, here and here. So I could do it like this to do 3 cutouts. Or what I also can do, I have here a cutting template, and this is the angle of 45 degrees I need. So if I'm holding here, this line here, if I hold it parallel from looking at it from above, so see, and then the seam must touch the center here. So here's the seam, that's the center. So now what we can do, we hold the knife exactly here, one line, that's one, and now the second one. See, so that's it. And now, oh wait a minute. Okay, well, I will say so far so good. Now we're going to continue. So now next thing is we're going to cut here this piece here. So I'm going to use a new pipe section for that here. So this is the center line, and then I'm going to take here this metal and the seam. So here we have the cutout and the seam is in the back. So this is the seam. So that means here is the seam. I'm gonna hold it here like a 90 degree, and my holes also. And then here. So that should be it. And now here just have a cut. Okay. Now next thing, I need here this cutout. So if I hold it here in the back, I have, well, let me say 1110, and to the outside 19.5. So 110 and 19.5. So this is here my center line. Cut out. This here, what I can do, so I'm gonna take here this angle, see, and so I need to cut it like this, and so if I hold it like this here now, a little bit more up, so like this, so this here is straight, vertical. So that means if I hold my knife like this and I cut it vertical, I should have the angle. So one side. Okay, well, that's it. So now the rest what we are doing is just continuing it. So we made here one T-piece, got this cut out, and now just following up the pipe until here, and then we will continue further. Okay, well, that's it for now. That's the next step. So the next step is, I've got here aluminium Foley tape on myself, put it around me, and the next thing what we're going to do is now we're gonna close up the seams with the tape. We hold it here, now squeeze it a little bit together, see, that's it. So that's the next step what I'm going to do. Here also, you can here also push it a little bit just to hold. So now what I'm going to do next, I'm going to put now everywhere tape around the seams until the next step. Okay, well, that's it now. I have closed all the seams here, and normally after that what we always mostly do is we put wire over it again. So that is something, for example, if there's no cladding, just these insulations, always better to put a wire around it. So I'm just gonna put wire around just to show. Always look, you don't put the wire on the seam. Okay, well, that's it. So these are, let me say, the first basics, how I would do it. Now, of course, there are a lot of other leggers, fitters, they have maybe also their own experience. I'm not saying that is the best way, but I think it's one of the easiest way. So now The rest what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue now to insulate everything. So I'm going to skip the part to show every piece, because otherwise I will have too long videos. So I'm just going to insulate the rest of the pipes. I'm going to leave the T-piece all open, and then we'll get back. Okay, now we're a couple of steps ahead now, and now we're going to do the next fitting part. So this one is coming here. So this should be, I've got it 420 millimeters, so 50 millimeter I go here over. We have here also 420. Okay, the cutout comes here, so 150 is the center, 150, and the cutout is 60. Okay, so 150. That's my center. And now here a circle, and this one we're going to cut out straight vertical from above. Okay, and that's it. And later on you're going to here have a few cuts, squeeze it together. Okay, well, that will be later. Okay, so far so good. So I made a little progress, and now next thing what we're going to do is here to connect here this T-pipe. So that was the other half of the cutout. So what I'm going to do here, this T-piece come here, same thing what I did before. So put it here in the right angle, and now I'm gonna cut it just like the T-pipe goes. So that's it. And now I'm gonna open it. Okay, well, that's it. The T-piece is on it, and same system I'm going to do with this one over here and that one over here. So just repeating the same system. Okay, now so far so good. And next thing what I wanted to do is I want to explain here position number 6. So this is band position number 6, And I was thinking maybe it's interesting to do this band by using the cutting template. Here we have the cutting template, and there are also some angles on it. And here you can see everything, the possibilities what you can cut with this template. Now I can see here already we have here 3 middle segments, and I have a 5-part band, so I need 1 segment more. This template I cannot use, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to make my own one. Now important is, if you want to make your own template, that this line is the straight line. So what we do next is find the center. So we have here 53, so 26.5. So this is my center. And next thing, now I have here on my ruler, here those degrees. So if I fold it here, and then we go here 90 degree, see, 90 degrees, so that means this angle is 90 degree. And if I put it here, see, so I have now an angled center line. Now the next thing, says radius 200, so this is my 0 line. I make here my radius line, that's the center line of the pipe, see, 200. Okay, now next thing what I need to know, I know the diameter is 160 of the insulation, so that means 8 is in the center, so 8 here and 16, so I will say here this is now my diameter. And well, a 5-segment band, that means 90 degree divided by 5, that makes 18 degree. So 1 segment is 18 degree, but 1 segment have also got 2 sides, so each side is the half, so I need 9 degree. So again here on the ruler I go back and find my 90 degree first. So this is 90 degree, but I need 9 from this center. So I go 90 minus 9 makes 81. So 81 degree. Now that's one side, and that's my other side. Okay, well, correct it a little bit. So that's it. Now my starter segment, so 560 plus 15, so these 15 are for the stretch, so they don't count, but we have here also a piece of 50, so I have a total length of 610, but the radius is 200, so when I minus the radius I will have 410. Now this is here my pipe I'm going to cut, so 410 from the center. So I take my ruler, open it, and put it here on 410. Now here's my seam, and you can here already see here the seam, so I'm gonna mark this here. So this is here. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now what I do next, so this is the center and this is the center line, so I'm gonna put here this where it marked is exactly on the ruler, and also on the other side. So once I have it, now it's fixed. So I have to see here. I'm going to move it. This is my outside diameter, so I cannot, when I look above it, I cannot cross that line. And same thing on the other side. Now, starter piece is exactly on 410. So what I can do, I need a first cut. And that is here, this one. So that is this line. I can see here my knife and here this point. So that should be now my angle. See? Now, what you do next, you can move this. Now here where the seam is, put it here on the line. Hold the next one with the same angle. Here. Now you can cut your segments. Okay, well, that's it. So let's have a look how they fit. Now what I'm going to do first, so I'm gonna put here, this is the starter segment. Okay, because I'm gonna open it. Okay, so I have made myself here a distance of 70 millimeters. So this is just temporary. Okay, then we're gonna put here the segments. Okay, well, that will be it. So okay, now here the last piece. Now the last piece, the seam is on this side from here. So it will be like this, it will become until here, but I have here this cutout. So I don't have a seam. So what I will do is I will cut it here, straight cut, and then turn this down and then make the cutout. So to make a straight cut, it's always good to have something like this, a metal. It's a helping. So I want to have it as small as possible. So okay, this will do. Okay, well, that will be now my bend. So next thing, well, we have 75. So 75, this is the center. $75. So, and this wasn't 48 outside, so we can make it 50, not too tight, and then just, you know, a little bit guessing. Okay, so far so good. And now next we're gonna do the Foley, just like we did before. So continuing the same stuff. Again, here, just close up the seams.
So this is also an example I like to show, because when you put here on the T-piece now, so that was just a possibility I showed. I didn't do it by all the other cutouts, but here's just an example I wanted to show. That's it. So we're going to continue. Insulate. Okay, now next step is, you can see here we have a 90-degree angle. So normally I can now cut just a 90-degree angle pipe. Therefore I'm gonna need this size here. So we have here center 200, and here we have 240. Okay, well, now next what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this template again. So this is the one we need, 45-degree cut to have an angle of 90-degree. Well, here we have already one there. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to extend the line a little bit. Okay, so next thing, so I want to have it here to put it in easy. I think it's the better way to have here a seam on the inside and here on the outside, same thing here. So it's maybe easier to fit. So what searching here is the seam, and if the seam is up, I'm gonna move it 90-degree. So now the seam is here, and we have here this black line. Then try to put it parallel. Okay, so this is up, and now we take here a size of 200, and the next one was 240. Okay, so now what I'm going to do next, so I'm going to put my knife here, so I'm going to move this down. So this is my center, and I have to make it parallel with up and here. So I'm going to move it. Okay, here. Okay, so I think this is good. So I'm gonna cut it. Okay, that will be it. And now here, the next one. So that will be now one part. So the next step is cut this off. Okay, well, okay, now next thing what we're going to do, so I'm going to find here the center and push my ruler here where it touches. So here, so I have to short it. So that was, we have here 200 millimeter, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side, also holding it here by this angle and just push it. So we have 165. Okay, so I'm gonna short this one, and this one is here, so 165. Gonna mark it. So next thing what I'm going to do, I'm gonna hold this here. Can also put here down the ruler in the center. See, so like this. And then here, look, put it in direction. Okay, that will be it. So that will be my cut. So if I cut it straight, it should be touching this, so this should be also checkpoint. Now, Same thing I'm going to do also with the other part, and then cut it off straight down. Okay, now let's have it to check. So this one comes here. Okay, and this one comes here. Okay, so far so good. Well, I have to say it's very tight. But as you can see, it's almost closed, so that will be okay. So next thing I'm gonna now put over the Foley tape, and then we go to the last part, the two reducers. Okay, now next thing what we're going to do is the reducer. So the reducer, so it's here 50 millimeter more, so in diameter is that 30 millimeter, so in the circumference we have about 93-94 millimeter in circumference, but it's too much, so I'm gonna leave this here by side. So what I do, I'm just gonna cut first some small triangles on different places and then try to squeeze it together. So I'm gonna start just cutting. Okay, so far so good. So next step is here also. What I also have done in between, so I filled it here up. So this is the 50 millimeter thickness, and I just put in here some blocks so that is closed, and I will close also this later with the aluminum tape. So next thing is I'm going to, what I did here, I'm going to do the same thing here with this part. So making here from here, so it's a one side reducer. So from here I'm gonna give cuts and then squeeze it until it touches till there.
Okay, now we are at the end of the video. Took off my mask, so everything is insulated. So The next step at the cladding, I don't need my mask anymore. You can also do it step by step, by, for example, put a little bit insulation and then do the metal. It all depends on the situation. Okay, well, I've tried and I've given my best to show the most easiest way. Anyway, I'm sorry I didn't make it also the cladding. So at the start of the video, I mentioned to do the insulation and the cladding, but the video is going to be too long, so I've decided to make part 4 where I do the cladding. So this was Piperack part 3, insulation. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.